Good afternoon, everyone. I am Priyanka Bedkeri, Coordinator of Design Department at Sasmira's Institute of Design and Textiles, SIDT. I, along with our Dean, Dr. Krishnendu Datta, welcome you all to this live session series of design education and future prospects in the industry post-COVID era. Today's topic is a sustainability sutra, building up a fashion brand, and the speaker for today is Ms. Swati Jain. Hi Swati, welcome. We are so glad to have you. So, Swati Jain is a designer and a passionate practitioner of sustainability. She has been awarded by UNESCO on her excellence of for her excellence of design. Her key skill sets include textile design, product development, business development, and international marketing. Apart from being an entrepreneur and consultant to many other companies, she also teaches at UTS Sydney and NIFT. We are very pleased to welcome Swati here to our live session today. Thank you for joining us, Swati. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Priyanka has already given a very elaborate introduction. So our topic today is sustainable. So we've all been hearing this word sustainable for a while, hashtag sustainable, sustainable clothing, circular fashion, a lot of words around it, which gets confusing to say what is it really all about and why as designers should we be a part of sustainable? How does it affect us? How does it matter to us? I just want to make a pretty outfit, a nice lehenga. So why is this relevant to us in our everyday life as designers, as people? So we try and understand what really is sustainable. So when we talk about sustainable, what is sustainable? So there is really no universal definition of sustainable. To put it very mildly, it is something as simple as mindfulness and coexistence in harmony with the planet, with its resources, with the environmental resources. So we understand it's a process and an action through which humankind need to coexist with planet Earth. It's as simple as that. The fashion industry is about the second largest contributor to industrial pollutants, be it in the fabric form of polyester, dye stuff, chemical wastages. We will get to that in the next session. Today we'll try and focus on what is sustainable, why is it relevant in your and my life, in our everyday being. Once we understand the gravity of the situation, then we will automatically see if our inclination draws us towards sustainability or it doesn't. So we are talking about how humankind will avoid depletion of natural resources, how humankind can live with the resources that we already have and make it optimally, utilize it well for our coexistence where we don't compromise our standard of living, but yet we don't deplete it so much that there's nothing left for the future generations to work on. There are studies which say that by 2050, the conventional modes of irrigation will no longer be producing the kind of food we need at the rate we are going. So now we've understood that Earth comes with exhaustible resources, be it the oceans with the fishes, with all the seafood that we have, be it the water. We are already seeing a lot of floods, ravages everywhere in Europe, floods that have never happened in the world before 1,000 years. It's not happened in Europe. China's flooded. There's a lot of suddenly cyclonic activity across the world. All of us are going through the COVID-19. There's upheaval everywhere. Mountains are getting stripped of snow. How is it impacting us in everyday life is something I can talk about, but I think the better way to go about it would be to share a couple of videos. that have been taken by National Geographic and other very eminent people like the ex-president of the United States. He's come up with a documentary, which Priyanka will share the link with all of you watching and interested in case you want to delve deeper into the whole topic. Here, a
Yes.
very basic example to say why should we be mindful if we overfish, which is sitting in our departmental store with expiry dates. The ocean is definitely getting depleted of the fish that is in the ocean. It's rotting in the departmental store, which will become industrial waste or go to some landfill. The organic chain in the ocean, that is, or other organisms which are interrelated to the fish, then again gets affected. The coral reefs and other organisms that we're not even aware of, the whole life out there. So everything goes in a disbalance. And we're already a little late into the destruction, but there's always hope. So as individuals, as designers, there are habits that we can inculcate in our everyday life, as well as aim to be designers who can be mindful of our environment, work with the environment, work with artisans. And it doesn't always have to be fashion which say looks boring, khadi, no, it's very boring, we don't want to wear that. No, how to make it really fashionable, yet something that you would wear, but we're not talking cheap fashion. So we will get to these topics of everlasting fashion, classic pieces, but we're not talking cheap polyester fashion when we talk sustainable. That'll be a topic for session 2, but for now, let's talk about why should we even bother trying to be sustainable. So I'm going to put you on to a couple of videos, and I would like everyone to have a look and see how deeply, sorry, the state of affairs are. Okay.
So I would request whoever wants the links to the video may DM us their email IDs, and we will email those links to you.
This is Patagonia 75 years ago, and the same pictures built. This is Mount Kilimanjaro 30 years ago, and last year. Within the decade, there will be no more snows of Kilimanjaro. This is really not a political issue so much as a moral issue. Temperature increases are taking place all over the world, and that's causing stronger storms. In the history of this country, early this morning, Hurricane Katrina slammed into New Orleans. Is it possible that we should prepare against other threats besides terrorists? From Paramount Classics comes a film that has shocked audiences everywhere they've seen it. The Arctic is experiencing faster melting. If this were to go, sea level worldwide would go up 20 feet. This is what would happen in Florida. Around Shanghai, home to 40 million people. The area around Calcutta, 60 million. Here's Manhattan. The World Trade Center Memorial would be underwater. Think of the impact of a couple 100,000 refugees, and then imagine 100 million. We have to act together to solve this global crisis. Our ability to live is what is at stake.
This is just a trailer of a very interesting documentary.
Yeah.
I have sent Priyanka the link, which she would share with all of you.
Yes.
To say we don't live in isolation, everything is interconnected. And in the last 3-4 years, we've seen the cyclones, we've seen the wildfires, we've seen excessive flooding everywhere.
Yeah.
And that makes us realize that what we do to the planet today impacts each one of us in our everyday lives, and we can't live in isolation, which I keep reiterating, that it's all interconnected. On that, I think just one or two more documentaries, if that's okay, just to get a little more deeper sense of what is it that we're really talking about, because a lot of us may not really know the impact of it on each other's or how we interconnected. So I'm putting on another video.
We've known about this for decades. For some period. I don't have a conversation with anyone about it. People just too much. Problems seems to be getting worse and worse. The more I learn about this issue and everything that contributes to the problem, the more I realize how much I don't know. Oh my God! Look how violent that is. Paradise has been degraded and destroyed. We're going to do this. I just want to know how far we've gone and if there's anything we can do to stop it. The U.S. has been the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases in history. We are a fossil-addicted country. We are doing more investment in solar today than the U.S. is. People in office still don't believe in climate change. Why do you think there is such opposition about the science? I think it's politics. People are so arrogant to think they can change climate. The environmental issues have become the biggest reason for advanced demonstrations. But we want to hold them accountable. This is the most important issue of our time. Question is, can we change our course in time? We need 100 gigafactor to transition to sustainable energy. That would make the United States, the whole world, all energy. That's not manageable. All that I've seen on my journey shows us we have the means of stopping this devastation. Politicians do what the people want them to do. Once the American people are convinced, the politicians will fall in line very quickly. If we keep pushing, there's no reason why we can't solve this problem. The world is now watching. We ask you to protect it. Are we and all living things we cherish our history?
So just checking, is this making any sense to people watching? Is it making an impact? Are we understanding why do we need to be where we need to be as designers, or is it just climate change? It doesn't involve me. It's just another topic altogether.
No, I
What is
think
it got to do with
those
us
who
as
have joined
designers?
today are concerned and want to create that change somehow, but don't know where to start, maybe, have joined us today. So I think all those who have joined are really interested in fixing whatever way we can on an individual level.
So I'm just going to share just one last video just for people to get a sense of how deep and how deep the problem is, really. And then maybe we can talk about how as designers, what can we do, just a little conversation, and maybe as a follow-up next week sometime, if you guys are okay with it, we can do a follow-up session as designers, what can we do? Once we know the problem, and we know we're not in isolation, then when we are studying fashion, when we want to be designers, we want to be successful, we want to be famous, we want to be all of those things, how can we be all of that with being sustainable is something we can take up on another level. Would that be okay for me to share another video just to understand the whole impact and concept better?
Environment. I started to wonder what was happening in the oceans elsewhere on the planet. Growing up, my world was the ocean. It's where I feel the most spiritual. As a freediver, it was the place where I proved myself to myself. Finally, had the opportunity to pay the sea back. A fraction of the plastic that we produce is recycled. This is never going to degrade. It's got nowhere to go. for something that these animals they were forced to endure because it was man-made and we put it into the environment.
The record is 276 pieces of plastic inside of one 90-day-old chick.
If the plastics are in the food chain for the dolphin, they're also in our food chain.
Exactly.
Communities are built on these landfill sites. So sweet potatoes, corn, sugar cane, all growing on 40 years of garbage. Do you have anything not wrapped in plastic? No. No. We have to make our life better for our kids and children. Change is possible. It starts with us.
There was a takeaway from the last one to say change is possible. Next time, with us.
Yes, so once again, I would like to say that anybody who wants the links to these videos that have been shared with you here can DM us your email IDs and we will send you the links via email. Yes, please, Swati, you may continue.
So Priyanka, does anyone have anything to ask? Because the why is very clear, the what is very clear by now, to say it's there everywhere. And, something as basic as individual plastic packaging that we do for our garments in the garment industry. Again, there are very few people use biodegradable plastic. It's the cheap one. Going to a shopping mall with your own bag, very basic changes that we can do. But as designers, what is it that we can do? It's where the whole question would come, because all of us are, I'm assuming a lot of us here in the talk are wanting to know about fashion.
Yes, we are coming to that, Batul.
Yes.
Thank you for asking.
Why don't, because it's again a very exhaustive topic to say we'll take up fashion by itself. There are different ways as which we could address this whole topic as designers. What can we do?
Right.
Sustainable. How can we be sustainable, fashionable? Somehow the word fashionable and sustainable in our minds don't seem to go together for some strange reason. To say if it's sustainable, then it's not fashionable. Incorrect. And we as designers, that's where we need to be, to say how can it be fashionable yet sustainable. If someone as big as H&M can start a whole lateral with sustainability, then individually it becomes even easier, especially when we're starting up our own brands. Because if the foundation is right and we started there and we start introducing people to the whole concept, we start practicing it in our daily lives, the word will go around and people will understand why we need to pay extra 5 rupees for a carry bag as opposed to a plastic bag. And that should be okay. It's for everyone's good in the future. Any questions, anyone?
Our Dean sir is saying that we will have a detailed session again on design sustainability.
Yes, just focusing,
Yes,
I think just focusing
a big
on
topic.
fashion. Yes, yeah. Fashion and design, and how can we do what we want to do now that we've all gotten to the platform. I'm assuming we all want to practice sustainability in our lives at some level or the other.
Yes. So I think we can start with our own wardrobes to begin with,
Yes, so there is this very interesting topic that is spoken about often, to say every time you go to buy something, the usual thing with all of us women is you open the cupboard, oh my God, I have nothing to wear. That's the first classic line from everyone. Oh my God, what am I going to wear? We don't have anything to wear. And then in an impulse, because online shopping is so accessible nowadays and at such incredible prices that it's impulsive buying in a lot of times. You may not need it, but you just want it. So the discretionary power that we all need to start exercising from this moment on with every aspect of our life is understanding need and want. We've
Right.
just started wanting too many things without really needing them. The
Right.
cupboard is overflowing. We still can't find an outfit to wear at the appropriate occasion. So when we buy something, we will have to stop and ask ourselves, do we really love it? Is it going to
Yeah.
really look good on us? And am I
Yeah.
going to wear it for at least 30, 35 wears? That's 35 is somehow something that they've come up with a standard to say, will I wear it for at least 30, 35 times?
Right.
If yes, so that's where I'm talking about cheaper is not going to help with sustainable. Uh, we need we need to build our wardrobe where we buy pieces that we are proud to wear time and again. We
Yeah.
can mix and match. How do we
More
use
of
it to mix
classic
and match?
pieces and less of trendy and fads and trends. Uh,
Fads, trends are good as long as you can again reuse them in certain manners, which is where as designers we come to use. Can we wear a polka dotted shirt in three different ways where it's trendy and yet it's something that I choose to wear it differently, or I choose to show it to my customers how to wear it in different options.
yeah.
So it can be trendy, it can be fashionable, but
Right.
it doesn't have to always be cheap. And again, we're talking about when we start talking cheap, why is everything so cheap and uh, cheaply available? H&M, Zara, fast fashion is the word that we use for it. $4, $5, polyester. Now, the more we start reading about the disadvantages of polyester, not only for the landfills and for the environment, also for our own bodies. I don't know how many of us are aware of how much damage synthetic fibers do to our skin. The chemical dye stuff used on the synthetics again are very harmful for our skin in the long term. We may not realize it. A lot of us could be sensitive. Like, for example, my skin is uber sensitive to anything which is synthetic polyester. You wear it for 2 minutes and I start breaking out in rashes. Given our climatic conditions, we don't always stay in an air conditioned environment. The temperatures are not conducive to a lot of clothing that we've started adapting to because it's coming from outside. But if we go back to how it was traditionally, our whole fashion cycle system was made with fabrics, fibers, which are very in tune with the environment, the climate, humidity, everything. So we just need to start understanding that we need to reconnect.
Yes.
And the fashion aspect of it, we will talk about for sure. But I think we can take it up on another time. For now, I think I could leave people with a lot more to understand why. Why should we do this? Till they get a compelling answer to why. They keep asking themselves, they see a few videos and then they understand, yes, we really need to be the change and we really need to make the change. Are we even going to get anywhere with this whole hashtag sustainable? Otherwise, it will just remain a very trendy word that some may use, some may choose to use, without really having the impact that we would all want for us and for the environment.
And there are a lot of other trending words. People get so confused. What is sustainability? What is circular? What is
So there
greenwashing?
are, there is a whole study about it, and it's not a new study. It's been going on for a while. So we only need to pick up what is relevant for us, because otherwise, getting deeper and deeper into, the 17 SOGTs of sustainability and what are the 4 pillars, what are the 5 pillars, what are the 7 pillars, what is relevant to our life? That yes, we need to make a change. Yes, it is going crazy because it's in front of our eyes. I don't know how many of us have been old enough to go to see Mount Kilimanjaro, but I've had a chance to see it. And the fact that it's going to be a snowless, nude mountain is something that your heart wrenches when you've seen it. It's like going to Everest and seeing no snow there. That
And
may happen in the future at the rate we're going and the whole snow melting. There is change, and it's evident with each one of us, with the weather, with the environment, with excessive rain, with fire, with droughts. It's a real time situation. And I'm hoping it encourages more and more people by watching the links, watching the videos, to decide to make the shift and be the change.
So
And
Dean
I
sir
say
is
because
saying
it's not
here,
selfish interest. You be the change, I'll also benefit from it because, like I said, we're not living in isolation. We're all interconnected.
so Dean sir is saying we as designers and design manufacturers will have to consciously use everything, every raw material, processes, finishing, publicity, all will have to be organic or sustainable. That is true.
Yes. So the word that we would constantly want to use for this is mindfulness. If we
Yes.
are mindful at every process that we are undertaking for our garment, accessory, or whatever we choose to design,
Yeah.
we can do what we want to do. And it can be fashionable. Like I keep saying, reiterating, because I know a lot of people, they use the word, the connotation with sustainability is, oh, it's not going to be trendy. And in the next talk that we have, I'm going to put across a couple of links of designers who have made the most amazing clothing, just sustainable, reusing, upcycling,
Yeah.
and it's possible.
True. True.
So I'm hoping this whole conversation motivates people to delve deeper into why. Once they have the answer to the why, they would automatically start being the change.
But the major problem is that people don't know where to start. So once going back to their wardrobe and going through every piece that they have, and analyzing how much usage they have got out of it till now and would be using in the future, and being mindful about the whole process of how to style it and how to prolong the shelf life of the fabric or the garment.
Yes, fortunately, we're born in country India, so we, by default, because of our parents, our grandparents, we do a lot of upcycling, recycling.
Yeah.
So throwing away a used garment is not something that we do very easily. Like if I don't have use for it, I know there would be my staff or there would be the staff's daughter, someone or the other would have utility for it. So fortunately, we're a little better off to say we do make
Yeah.
optimal use of it and we don't throw and discard in the garbage bin so
Yeah.
easily, at least the clothing bit of it, shoes,
Only
clothing,
thing
bags.
it reaches the landfills a bit later than
It
usual.
does. Eventually, it will get there. So, starting with the wardrobe is a great self-analysis, uh, and a lot of other things that we can do as a self-analysis and habits that we can change in our daily life. But as designers, I come back to it because we are talking about future designers. And as designers, then the urge is like, if I'm sustainable, I'm not profitable because sustainability is expensive. That's a myth again. It doesn't have to be expensive. It is not expensive. You can be mindful, keep your costs manageable, work with people, they get fair wages. You feel happy because it's fair wages. You charge a fair price, and people understand and they will be willing to pay if your brand can communicate the sense that you want to communicate. So, as designers, our job is to be able to effectively communicate our design aesthetics and be great designers, be original.
So how
And
do
see,
you know whether a brand is authentically following, sustainability path? How can we, as a consumer or a normal user, understand whether this brand which is promoting, or it could be just greenwashing us with the concept of being sustainable, or
right, which is why it's important, as designers, that we educate ourselves into the processes. We understand, a difference between why should we use natural fibers, fabrics, as opposed to polyester, synthetic. Is viscose polyester or is it natural, man-made? So a little reading, understanding, because it is our responsibility to be aware of these things. Um, Chemical dyes versus natural dyes. What can I choose? How cost effective is it? Once you're aware of these processes, you can't really stop everyone from using what they are using as a marketing strategy, but you can discern and you can decide. Are they what they're saying they're doing? A lot of people will not share factory details of where it's produced. So if there are fair wages or not, there is no way of knowing are there fair wages. If it's a handloom or there's some amount of hand element work, so you know that someone with the skills has gotten some kind of remuneration. They say they're paying fair wages or minimum wages. You will just have to take it with a pinch of salt, because really, if you start going into the very, very fine nitty-gritties of it, you tend to lose yourself. Look at the larger picture. You be fair and you expect someone else in front to be fair, and move on. The honesty should come from within, and you will be able to discern over time, is it what they're saying it is, or is it not what they're saying it is.
So how does a designer, begin their journey towards building a sustainable brand?
So once they've decided that they want to be contributing to this whole, you know, platform of sustainability, even if all of it is not sustainable. Say I don't want to make my garments with natural dyes. I want to use chemical dyes. Okay, so that's a decision I have taken. But can I do something as a balance to kind of ensure that maybe a part of it is sustainable? Maybe I'm using natural fabrics, fibers. It may not be organic cotton, but at least the shift from polyester to cotton or cotton blends or linens or whatever, little shifts that we can make, and we can see if it's working for us. Because ultimately, why do we want to be designers? We want to create. But if you start talking about too many limitations with sustainability, then you may say it's hindering my creativity. So you create. Make your
Right.
mood board, make your sketches, make your flats and everything. Choose your fabrics while choosing. At every stage, be mindful. If I'm choosing this, what can I do? Can I ask them to bring back their clothing after 2 years of use, and maybe I'll give them a 10%, 20% discount? Once they bring it back to you, see, can you use a part of it again to kind of mix and match, use it somewhere? Have a separate label where it's upscale. So you could do an upscale. Maybe you could just have it as a sale for people as a reuse garment. So there are many options and there are many laterals. So we will talk about how we could explore all of them. And the starting point is to decide, Priyanka, really to say, do we want to be a part of it? Because if it doesn't call from within and if it's just profits, it's
Yeah.
just money and profits, then we will be losing out to a lot of, lot.
Because there are too many steps to consider if you logically put it on
No,
paper.
there aren't actually. They're very basic fundamental choices that you have to make.
Yeah.
It's as simple as, do I want to eat home cooked food, or do I want to order in a pizza? As simple as that.
Right.
We all know what the pizza
Yeah.
does. It's yum, it's delicious, everything. It's instant, half an hour delivery. When you start reading about what happens and what it does in your stomach, you've gone deeper into it, you've read it, you understand, you decide. So it
Right.
starts with you really to say, do you want to? Do you not want to? Once you've decided you want to, the road automatically shows itself, and the path is very easy. It's not expensive, it's not difficult, it's not confusing. You just have to be mindful. Do I need plastic? No, I don't need plastic. Then how can I rack it? So it takes time. So what sustainability does, because you're being mindful, it takes a little extra time and effort. If I'm doing segregation of waste to say biodegradable and non-biodegradable in two different bins, it's taking that 1 minute extra of my time and effort, right? It's the same with every process of design. It takes a little extra time and thinking. You think it through, and then it'll become second nature, as in when you keep practicing and you start practicing.
Right. Anyone in the audience has any questions? Can you please feel free to ask any questions? Because students, there are so many students and designers that are wanting to step into this, but definitely don't know where to start from.
You know, and the most fantastic thing is you as an institute are promoting and encouraging something like this. So eventually, maybe you can have a platform as an institute to say we sell sustainable. So there could be a shop, e-shop or whatever, to encourage and help your students to be able to make and to be able to sell. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants to sell, right? No one wants to create this gorgeous outfit and sit with it with no selling. So of course you want to sell, you want to make profits, you want to be famous, you want to be known. But yes, so it's a great initiative that the college is taking for its future students, trying to motivate them, trying to maneuver their thought process. Great move.
So our final year students are also following the path of sustainability for their final collection, and they are trying to incorporate various methods as to which are more sustainable in terms of product development. So we are already
Great. If anyone needs any help, let me know because there are artisans across the country that they could collaborate with. So if each one even picked up one artisan and decided to kind of showcase, work with them, use a part of their product. So it's a see, so again, you're sustainable because you as a brand will get publicity. At the same time, you're helping the artisan in a village who has no outreach to all of us people to kind of promote them. A cohabitation of the brand, of the artisan, of the designer, and knowingly or unknowingly, it's walking the path of sustainable. And there's so many arts and crafts that can be practiced. We're probably the only country still which does a lot of weaving, printing, embroidery, all three aspects of it, because weaving is something that has just become extinct from most part of the world. I mean, handloom, as we call. And we should be really, really proud of what we do with handloom. I've seen such fantastic fabrics across the country that
right.
can only be imagined.
Yeah, yeah. So apart from development, product development, second-hand clothing stores are showing up. Like a lot of thrifting is taking, center stage now. More and more people are understanding, why do they need to thrift or go for second-hand
Absolutely.
clothing.
Absolutely. All of us have at least 10 pieces in our wardrobe that we can pull out very easily without a blink of an eye to say, let me put it out there and let someone else use it, because that also frees our mind, declutter space, declutter mind,
True.
gives us flexibility to go buy something else that we really, really want.
Yeah.
So, mindfulness, you have to stop, you have to think, and you have to make that little time. We're all really in a race. So, sometimes because of the race, we forget about the time and stopping to think. So, if you
True.
do that, it will become second nature, and it's very easy, really.
Right. So, as a culture here in India, I think it is easier to adapt to these kind of methods or practices in terms of mending clothes or reusing, recycling, upcycling, or using second-hand products. I think we can easily adapt to these kind of practices as opposed
Absolutely.
to
We already do. I mean,
yeah.
growing up, I'm sure all of us have
Yes.
worn hand-me-downs of our older cousins, sisters, relatives. I've even worn shirts with my brother to say it was just so cool to wear your brother's shirt.
Yeah.
So that's something that comes inherently from being here, which I would say is a big blessing. No one's thrown away a shirt because the button's broken. Someone or the other will always fix it for you, even if
Yeah.
you don't know how to fix it yourself. But all of us know how to fix our own buttons, fortunately.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, there are
we are
habits.
competing against fast fashion. There is no denying that we are competing against fast fashion in
We're not
this.
competing really. In our minds, we just want to ape without really thinking, is it good for us? Is it not good for us? There is this whole pressure suddenly to look a certain way, to be a certain way, peer pressure, social media pressure. So there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe we do things to just fit in, to belong, or whatever it is. We're not here to go on that topic.
Yeah.
But once we, like I said, the path is clear and in your mind you've decided, then these things don't deter you because you see the larger picture and
Yeah.
you see where you're going and where you want to be. Do you want to be a part of the problem? Do you want to be a part of the solution? And it
Right.
becomes very easy. So the shift really has to happen here. And once that's shifted, it's very easy.
Yes.
So we can talk about the finer points and examples that I will pull out of international designers, local designers, a lot of people who are in this whole field
Yeah.
working towards it. And like I
Right.
said, as an institute, you're giving your students the best platform. There could be
Yeah.
an online store that you should talk to your store about to offer a space for people to sell and for others to understand that, yeah, there is a platform that exists which is promoting aggressively.
True. 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 We are trying our best, to hand over that knowledge from us tutors to the students. But yeah, students have their own thought process and they want to know more, obviously, and one should know more. And sustainability is a very broad concept, and I
Correct.
think it is never enough of knowledge in terms of sustainability. There is every single time I read something and I find a new concept or aspect to that.
There is, like I said, so there is no universal definition.
Right.
Why is it everything else comes very seamless? And then as designers, once we start seeing videos about how our industry is the second largest contributor, then you really want to sit back and say, hey, what do I want to do?
Yes, and as designers being, innovators and can actually become ethical change makers as well. So,
Find the solution. That's what I said. Be a problem or be the change. So once you're the change, you will find solutions.
yeah,
That I'm not using a poly bag. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I'm not using a poly bag. I will wrap it in paper. I will make a very beautiful bag for you. That bag can be reused later for whatever. Put your shoes, put your undergarments, put your veggies in it, do whatever. So at least it's not plastic. It's not going to a landfill. It's not going to the ocean, and we're not eating it back in the fish, in the seafood, whatever. It's coming back to us in some form or the other. So it's not inside our body at the end.
right, right. So, audience, we are still taking questions. Do you have any questions for us?
I think they're still mulling over. My goodness, what is sustainable? So I would encourage all of you here to go look at these 2-3 documentaries that have been made, which Priyanka is going to share a link with you, and it will just make you more aware of why. Once you've understood the why, you will follow the path, and we're hoping more and more of us move and start walking on that path because it's important for you. It's important for me.
It is important, yeah. It is a very important topic, and we are looking forward to a detailed discussion with you further into this in the next session. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you so much for this insightful session, and it was wonderful having your inputs. Also, I hope that the audience has gained a perspective as to where to start from and begin their journey towards sustainability.
Yes. At least the thought should start, then the action will start automatically. And I hope these videos encourage and motivate all of you to adapt some form of sustainable change in your life, and fashion being the foremost.
Yes.
Lovely talking to everyone, Priyanka.
Yes.
And any questions anyone has, I'll be happy to address them now or later. So you can reach me. You already have my email ID and contact numbers and details.
Yes,
And
you
the
can
next
DM
session we will.
us your questions. If you have any questions, you can DM us and we will reply to them.
Yes. And the next session that we do, we will focus only on fashion, how to start, what do we need to do, and what all are the points that we need to take care of, which Katie sir has already pointed: raw material, process, finishing, publicity,
Yes.
everything. And
Yes.
all of us can be, working with each other to support each other also to kind of grow organically.
Right.
So if you follow sustainable, I follow sustainable, X follows sustainable, so all of us can work in the same um, ecosystem to promote and help, because there's space for everyone,
True.
really.
True. There is. There is. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
this wonderful session. And on behalf of Dean Sir, me and all my team members, we are very grateful to have you today here. And thank you to all the wonderful audience who have connected with us today. Thank you so much for the interaction, and we'll see you next time.